Step into the Wild with the Hills Purples podcast this evening, season 1, episode 8, everything from fowl to grouse. We got Drew here joining us with the crew of Harness Adrenaline. Drew, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to be a part.
Awesome. Would you mind introducing yourself to our listeners?
Yeah, man. So my name is Drew Rossman. I live in Southwest Idaho, just west of Boise, about 45 minutes or so. I live kind of along the river, the Snake River. So um, it's pretty nice out here. I love it. Yeah, man. Out here in Idaho, just kind of doing it, grinding, trying to get outdoors as much as I can. Hunting, fishing, just getting whatever I can get at the time, man.
Would you mind sharing us like a quick idea on how you got into the outdoors? What got you out there?
Yeah. I guess it's two separate things, but just getting into the outdoors. I kind of grew up around it. My dad hunted when he could when I was growing up, but I mean, full time job. My mom was a stay at home mom, so he was busy, being provider, and I appreciate him for that. But my grandfather hunted and fished, his whole life, and he's the one that kind of got my dad into it. Um, so I kind of remember when I was young in elementary school, when I was when I was acting right up, dad would pick me up from school, and we'd go to like a friend's property and like walk around and go look for deer, and he'd have his bow, and um, that's kind of like my first memories with it. And stemming from that, middle school, got to go on my first deer hunt in Central Washington because I grew up in Washington, and I got to do that with my grandpa and my dad, and that was probably one of the better first memories I had with it, and it just stemmed, So growing up through middle school and high school, I tried to go when I could, but I played baseball and I ended up playing in college. So that kind of made hunting take a back seat for a while. But when baseball was over, hunting quickly took baseball's place. So just kind of dove headfirst into that with deer hunting in the Midwest. I was over in Iowa. And when I moved over to Idaho, I started duck hunting and doing some upland hunting and really started falling in love with bird hunting over here. So that's how I got into it. That's how I came over here. And it's just been a blast, man.
That's awesome, dude. It's obviously we built a pretty extensive friendship, brotherhood through kind of dinking around in Moses Lake, Washington. That was a pretty fun time. Wild haircuts and somehow passing classes.
Found this random guy who liked to go with me, so it was pretty okay.
Yeah, it was
I
a
still
good
remember
time,
that coyote hunt we went on where we were staring at that coyote. We thought it was a bush for 20 minutes until it walked away.
Yeah, that's the days before glassing, huh?
The days before glassing. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? Whatever.
It happens to, just probably us, but the best of us.
Every dog gets his day, including coyotes, I guess, man.
Yeah. I remember. I don't remember the song, but we were all in the same. Maybe it was like a music appreciation class. And do you remember all of us studying in Zane, Danny, and I's apartment, like the whole night? I don't know if it was like history of music or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
Jiminy Crickets, dude.
Good times, dude. All of our football games, dude. Like I will always remember that the Tebow touchdown in overtime because it was with you and all the man. Everyone just freaking out over that post route.
Dude, the most simple route, and just Tebow hits the guy over the middle, and it was awesome. It was a fun time up there. Dude, learned a lot.
The good old days, man. You don't realize you're in them until you're out of them.
Facts. You look up and they're 5-10 years down the road.
Here at Harness Adrenaline, we understand how important hydration is, not only for hiking miles into the backcountry, fly fishing the Colorado River, or while summiting peaks across the nation. That's why we are so excited to tell you about the all-encompassing Grail GeoPress filter and purifier. One press, global purification. Right now, use Adrenaline20 for 20% off of any order. And be sure to check out all the other products available at grail.com.
Elkhorn Coffee Roasters at elkhorncoffeeroasters.com has been our longest sponsorship. If you're like us on the team, finding consistently great coffee is almost as tough as finding that 350-plus class bull. Scott and April have solved this search. Most orders are roasted just after the time of ordering. Go check out their selections, from whole bean to steep bags for your on-the-mountain adventures. Use promo code HA for 15% off orders of $25 or more.
So, Drew, I know that you do a lot of, bird hunting. And so how many would you say like upland species can you actually hunt in Idaho? I mean, I know that you're doing a lot of your hunting there. So, and then on top of that, kind of part B of that question, how accessible is the upland and even waterfowl? How accessible is the hunting there?
So Idaho's kind of interesting. It's kind of like one of those sneaky upland states where, like, if you know about it, then like, man, it sounds really cliche. If you know, you know, because Idaho's got 9 upland species that you can actually hunt here,
Wow.
legally, like, not including turkey. So you've got all your grouse. You've got your rough grouse, your blue grouse. You got sharp tails, you got sage grouse, you got pheasants, you got quail, chucker, Hungarian partridge, and I am missing one, spruce grouse. You got your spruce grouse too. So you got 9 different species of upland birds here, and they're all fairly accessible, minus sharp-tailed grouse and sage grouse. And I say that because sharp-tails, you can there's only really one zone to go hunt them, and it's the southeast corner of the state over by like Twin Falls. And then sage grouse, they cap it. It's kind of one of those deals where you got to go in every year. Like, it's like this Monday at 10 o'clock, you log into the queue and you hope that you're not 1,578 person in line for one of these.
So it's just like your elk tags then, basically.
Kind of, yeah. For our we do our non-resident elk tags like that. Yes. So yeah, it's just like that, and you can get maximum 2 tags for sage grouse, but if you want that second one, you have to exit out and go all the way back into the queue like a second time. So most people just get one, and it's kind of it's a cool bird. It's something that you're probably not going to hunt, or like my grandkids probably won't be able to hunt sage grouse just because the land is just getting gobbled up, man, and like they're just struggling.
They can for sure come to Colorado. We have plenty here. I mean, we damn near ask people to kill them.
Dude, maybe I need to come out there.
Yeah, maybe that's what needs to happen.
So yeah, it's pretty cool, man. And other than those 2, pheasants, the only problem you run into with pheasants, man, is all the private farmland. And it's hard to find good, like really good wild land that's good for the access, and it's kind of goofy, but I might be giving away like a secret here. But if you've got a boat, there's lots of pheasants around the reservoirs. So that's.
Dang.
I know people that have done that. I want to do that. I haven't done it yet, but fishing in the early fall at some of these reservoirs, you hear pheasant cackles all over. So, valley quail, California quail, the same thing. They're everywhere. So if someone's looking to come shoot some quail, like, you're doing something wrong if you don't end up with a bag.
I was working there this week, as we hung out Monday, and I was working there this week, and actually, matter of fact, yesterday there was quail outside the shop I was at, the contractor shop I was at, and I was just like, damn, I could hit those with a rock.
Dude, I went out. I opened the door actually 2 days in a row. These last 2 mornings, and there's been a covey about 10 quail in the yard. So you just missed them. Like they're all over the place.
That's wild. So that's not really. I mean, in Grand Junction we have some quail like that in terms on the western slope. Out east there's definitely heavy quail influence, but it's still not as prominent as Idaho in that respect. But
Yeah,
so
I get them crossing the road every day. Like like if I'm not seeing quail every day, something's goofy because they're just all over the place.
that's awesome. They're good eating too. I mean, tiny but good eating.
Dude, they're awesome. I kind of like fixing them just like Dove, dude.
Yeah.
I'll get the bigger jalapenos and I won't cut them in half. I'll just cut the big end off them and I'll just stuff the whole thing in there with some cream cheese and wrap them in bacon and just kind of do like a mega popper. It's pretty good that way.
Got our next meal when I come out.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, so is Idaho, another question I have for you, is Idaho still an elite waterfowl? I mean, would you call it that, right? I mean, at one time, you're always into the waterfowl. I mean, as much as anyone I've ever met, even Ryan on our team here, I think you could give him a pretty solid run for his money. I think if you guys got together, it'd be a hell of a fun time. But is it still an elite waterfowl state? The past couple of years, I kind of have been hearing a couple murmurs here and there, so I'm just kind of wondering from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, it's tough, man. And the hard part is like, I love Duck Dynasty, but I also think Duck Dynasty was one of the worst things to happen for duck hunting, and it's gotten so popular. So between the popularity and between the influx of people coming into Idaho, mainly from California, and I have a hard time dogging these guys for coming up because a lot of them are, I think what does my dad say? I think my dad says political refugees. Like these guys that it's these conservative guys that like hunt and fish and, just get tired of where they're at. So they come to a place where they feel normal, and you can't dog them for that. But at the same time, it's hard on the infrastructure here. I think we were actually talking about that when you were here, where Boise was not set up to be this big. And since I moved here in 2017, the I-84, the interstate, has went from 2 lanes to 4 lanes, and it's wild, But what that's done to the hunting is, the first couple of years I was here, I started duck hunting that first year I was here, and honestly, I had no clue what I was doing. But the amount of birds that we were seeing, and like we were able to shoot these birds, man, I couldn't do that now, because I think the birds are educated, for one. Like, they're smart. The ones that make it out alive, they know, right? Educating birds is a real thing. And on top of that, we just don't have the numbers, and the pressure is hard too. Because when I first brought my boat down here in 18, on the weekends I would go down to Homedale. It's just the town below me. It's where the closest public ramp is. Like, there would be, maximum 3 trailers, including mine. It'd be 3 people out on the river on a Saturday night or Saturday morning hunting, right? Now you go down there, man, there's like 6 to 8 trailers, like every weekend. It's insane, and it's not a huge section of the river, and there's only certain spots you can hunt. You can't just pull over anywhere just because it's the Snake River. There's a bunch of tules one spot. It's goofy. They don't like to be in certain areas. So they're just getting squeezed, man, and it's hard. So, like, to answer the question, I don't know if I would call it elite anymore. I would still say it's a decent, like, state for waterfowl, but between the influx of people and just, that's the big one, man. Just the influx of people is killing it. Absolutely killing it. And they're not hunting the right way either. Educating birds and squeezing each other, hunting too close to people, which, I've been guilty of that in the past, live and learn. But it's tough. It's been tough to see because again, you could get away with things. We didn't know what we were doing before, and we were shooting birds. But if we would go do what we were doing before now, there's no shot.
Yeah, no, I mean that's you're preaching to the choir. Talking to a couple guys who live in Colorado, it's the get off my lawn, but also I don't mind if you maintain my grass. Mentality. It's like, hey, we love the funding. We love that other people are getting into it. We love educating people, but also, man, if it's for us it's elk. If it's the second or third season over the counter unit, I mean, I have literally sat on the other side of a rock, not worried about elk, worried about my life because bullets have been hitting the rock behind me. I mean, it's just so crowded and congealed with people. It's insane. Again, it's awesome, but there's so much vast land in the West. You should be able to find spots away from people.
Yeah, and that's what's hard about the river is, like I said, there's only so many spots that are good for. I mean, shit. I guess you could pull over and hunt anywhere on the river, but they're creatures of habit, just like everything else. The ducks like to be certain spots, and there is a couple times this year where we go to a pretty unpopular spot of the river just because it's accessibility just a little bit further out, than other places. And there's one day where we were expecting to have a really good day. Like, I scouted it up the day before. There were a couple hundred ducks sitting in this little spot with this little sandbar, and we get there in the morning, and we passed one guy. He was quite a ways up, and we weren't going to be bugging him, so we passed him, got to our spot, and then it was like 20 minutes after shooting light, this boat rolls down and sets up 200 yards below us. What is going on here, dude? Like, you can't even say you didn't see us. It's daytime. We were like standing up with our hands up in the air. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, you got the whole river here, and you're gonna set 200 yards away from us, close enough where we could hear them talk, and hear them yelling at their dog, and of course, hearing them call, I mean, thankfully, I consider myself, like a top tier caller. Like, for ducks, I'm trash with geese, but for ducks, I can consider myself top tier, and we were able to pull birds away from them, like, rightfully so, because I don't think that's fair for them to pull our birds. We were there first, but it's getting ridiculous, man, and it's frustrating, and it makes it not fun, right? Like you said, it just doesn't make it fun anymore.
Yeah, no, yeah, 100%. That's accurate, dude. And again, I love when people get into it, but getting into it the wrong way really, really does harbor the love of the sport in some aspect.
100%. 100%.
I mean, I remember when you used to just be able to, dock out a Saturday morning with your family, or with my family, and we're gonna go to the Eastern Plains of Colorado and hunt some pheasants. And now it's like, oh, well, now you got to call in for walk-in access, and you got to stamp your time on when you're there. And I'm like, what the heck? Well,
dude,
like, just
I'll be the first
be able to fill up and get after it. I mean,
yeah, and I'll be the first to admit, like, when I talk to people, like, even people at work, like, I started a new job a couple months ago. Well, not a new job, just a different role. I took a lateral for something new, and talking to these guys, and they're like, oh, we haven't duck hunted, but we like hunting. I'm like, sweet, like, come with me. Like, I will be the first to invite you out because I want you to learn the right way. Like, I don't want you to 100%. Not hunt, but like, I rather teach you the right way and have you be in the same like area as me, but and communicate. And like, there's one guy where I've done that with, and he's like, hey, I'm thinking about hunting here today. And I would just straight up tell him, dude, I was gonna hunt like. I was going to kind of hunt like near there tomorrow. And he's like, well, I can go somewhere else. And I'm just like, no, don't worry about it. Like, I'll go somewhere else. I'll be like, you take that spot, man. But teaching people the right way is more important than I think keeping them off the river.
Yeah, 100%. I fully agree.
And I mean, I've ran into situations where I got to a spot, I'll get to a spot, and then here comes a guy 10 minutes later. He's like, dang it, I was gonna hunt here today. And I'm like, dude, you can hunt with me. Like, you can hunt with me, or like we're gonna use decoys and everything because I was here first. We'll do it my way, but you're more than invited to sit in the blind with me, hang out. I'll teach you what I know. Like, if you do, more power to you. But I mean, 99% of the time they move on, but there was one time someone did that, and I was actually down in Hagerman. If you know anything about duck hunting in Idaho, Hagerman is one of those places that's world famous, and I was down there, and this guy pulls up, and he was actually a fishing officer hunting on his day off, and he actually hung out with me and my buddy for a couple hours, and then ended up moving back to his blind with a couple other dudes, and he was super chill. So I mean, like, it's one of those things where, like you said, like, let's just keep the lawn maintained, but let's do it together.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, right on, man. I got just a couple more questions. I guess one, I don't know much about this, and to be transparent with you, Drew, I didn't know about it until I was there, and you had brought it up. Idaho has like a bird of prey, maybe like a sanctuary area or sanctuary lands. Yeah, and that's kind of been getting kind of tainted a little bit more recently. Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, over the last instances of people shooting the hawks or things like that out there, and whether it's farmers and ranchers or just idiot kids or my friends just dipshits in general, like, I don't know, but I think this last week, when you were here, I saw that post pop up where someone shot a bald eagle and two or three hawks in an hour, 2 or 3 hawks or something like that. And dude, I tried to find more info on it, but I really couldn't find anything. And I don't know, kind of keeping it kind of hush, or if they're really just, hey, this is happening and we can't figure it out and we just don't know anything else, and I'd like to think it's the rather than keep it quiet. But yeah, man, there's an area called Birds of Prey down here, and it is exactly what it says. It's just buzzards, hawks, like golden eagles. We do have some golden eagles out here. They're huge, they're massive, and it's just a good place for them to thrive because we've got some pretty barren ground out here. But yeah, man, that can be a problem. I think it's pretty ridiculous for people to go out there and do that, and it's just wild. Again, like, keep off the grass, right? That's a good way, like, to put it, like you said, but it's crazy.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's something cool that I actually want to go see next time I'm out there, just to check it out. Obviously, not to taint the land like some of these other clowns, but
yeah, I'll make you keep your pistol at home.
Yeah, thanks. So, how have things changed for bird hunting? Just where you've been. I mean, obviously you've had some Midwest stuff, some Idaho stuff, obviously some stuff up in Washington. So in total, like, in the last 5 years, how has bird hunting changed? What have you been seeing?
The big thing again is the influx of people, and then also accessibility, right? We do have one cool thing here in Idaho that's it's called Access Yes. I'm sure you guys probably have the same type of program up there. Is it called the same thing, or is it different?
It's not. No, that's going to be the kind of like it's in like Courtesan with the walk-in access only type programs. You call 24 hours before. If it's a leased hunting land, then you got to call the farmer. They have some stuff like that in Montana as well.
Dang, ours, we don't have to call. There's just a little sign-in sheet when you go, so you can just roll up, sign in, and go.
On the public ones, that's how that is here. On any like leased lands that farmers will lease to hunters and things like, to the state for hunting. You got to get more extensive permission.
Interesting. Yeah, we still don't even have to call for that. So that's kind of
wow.
I guess that's awesome. Kind of a blessing that we have. But we do have a lot of access, yes. And thank goodness for that, because again, the amount of land is slowly starting to dwindle. I know Idaho is one of the better lands in the states in the country for percentage of public land, but it's still a looming problem. You got people buying up land here and there, and it's not really bird hunting, but a good example would be I can't remember the last name, but those two brothers from Texas. Did you ever hear bought up all that land in central Idaho? So
I don't think so.
oh, these guys, these millionaires from Texas, bought up all this land, and then they blocked off the access easement roads. So they blocked a bunch of public land by closing their easements, which is technically illegal. But the governor chose not to do anything about it, and these guys were legitimately putting armed guards at their gates.
The
So
Wilkes
they're-
brothers.
Brooks, yeah, Wilkes or Brooks or yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think I did hear
those-
about that.
Yeah, dude. So like issues like that are real problems, to the threat of like public land hunters, right? They closed off a whole crap ton of area for people to hunt, and I remember looking at the Facebook posts from people about it, and these old guys are like, I've been hunting this area, this public land since I was a kid with my grandpa. I'm 60 years old, and now I can't even go hunt public land because these guys closed this easement road, which is illegal. Just because it went up to the property, eventually they just closed it. And it's like that's not really humanitarian of us for public land hunting. That just sucks, So there's that problem. You find smaller issues like that, not quite as large scale as them, but then again, just the people, right? And with the people come increased harvest reports, and that's a killer, dude. Like you can't find, I think I mentioned earlier, you can't find public land pheasants like easily out here. It's a pain in the ass. You'll see them in the farmers' fields, and that's great for the population. I'm stoked that they're still around, but you can't just go public land hunt pheasants much out here anymore. It's a lot of quail. So when we go out here, we shoot a bunch of quail. I load up my dog and go look for quail, or we'll drive up to the Owyhee Mountains, those mountains that are south of my house that you see on the skyline. Drive up there, and you can get into chuckers and huns up there. But yeah, just that influx of people has really kind of killed a lot of opportunities here, in my opinion. I'm sure some people would disagree, but I'm not saying lower the bag limits, but there needs to be some type of resolvement here because we keep increasing the amount of people, the harvest reports keep increasing, and everything else is staying the same. So it's like something's got to give at some point, because it's starting to
There's
get
got to be some regulation.
Something's got to give. It's starting to get a little lopsided, and I've got 2 places that are within 15, 20 minutes of me that they release pheasants, a few times a week, like WMAs. And that's all fun and games, dude. But then you've got the old folks crew that has a buddy who knows when they get dropped off and they're just following the truck. And, it's just not fun for the dog either because they just get a whole crap ton of old scent.
Right.
And it's hard for your dog. I mean, Cody, like, he's a great dog. He's a good hunting dog. And, he struggles out in those WMAs because he'll lock down a point really hard, and I'm like, oh, this is it, and then I walk up, it's just a fresh pile of feathers from a half hour ago. It's like, damn, like just missed it. Or he's pointing they dump them out of the crates with some straw in the hay in the crates, so so he'll lock up on that really fresh scent hay, but that bird's gone. So it's a tough opportunity, more for the dog, and it's frustrating because your dog thinks he's doing the right thing, but he's just getting fooled. So yeah, it's changed quite a bit, in my opinion. Even in the 5-6 years I've been here, it has changed. Just the amount of people has really changed the game.
Yeah, no, I think statewide and other states would agree with that. I think that even game wide, different species would agree with that also. I mean, it's just thing is there's millions of acres of public land. Just you got to use it properly, use it respectfully, and be ethical. You know, we always talk about hunter ethics, and unfortunately, it just doesn't make it fun. You know, like you're saying, coming up, following a truck that's going to drop down some birds. I mean, that's zero fun in that. I mean, yeah, you got to go back to the office and tell some people that you killed some birds, but that's just that's not hunting. You know, I mean, that's even less hunting than sitting a pile of corn for a couple whitetail. I mean, that's
it's dumb, man, because you're not supposed to be out. Like, there's like a 10 o'clock start time for those WMAs, which is actually kind of nice. You don't have to get up super early, but there's guys that'll walk in there at 9:30 or 9:40 with their dogs on a leash, and it's just like, no, that's not what they meant. You know, it's like, come on, man, you really gonna do that over a couple pheasants? It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, no, it's wild, man, and I love hearing the knowledge from just other people in general, but definitely someone from a different state, who I know has a lot of respect for wildlife, but also just a lot of stake in the game in general. So we really appreciate you being on the podcast, and definitely want to run this back at some point, maybe talking about some big game or some fun stories or something like that.
No, dude, I've got some good big game stories. I've got probably the most embarrassing antelope hunting story. So yeah, dude, whenever you want to run it back, dude, we got some good content again there too. So I'm excited for that.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you, Drew. Thank you, Lane, for running it, and you guys stay after it and get after it.
No, I appreciate you guys for having me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the time, and thank you for sharing us some stories about upland bird hunting, and as well as some waterfowl. And we appreciate you being on with us this evening. So
heck yeah,
enjoy
man.
the rest of your week, and feel free, if you guys are interested, to go check us out on Instagram at Harness Adrenaline and on our website at harnessadrenaline.com.
Yeah, for sure. They've got some good giveaways they do too, so check those out.
All right. Thank you again, Drew, and as always, get after it.
Heck yeah, man. You too.